Okay, this is our next series of videos for our share DI. This one is the first of two that's going to look at how you actually graph your AOI data. So the idea, one of the parts of the DI was you make a spreadsheet, use that spreadsheet to find a index for your share portfolio, so the 4 or 5 companies you bought shares in, and track that index, see how much it goes up or down by in the course of the year that you're supposed to be looking at. Now, somewhere in there it said that you want to compare your index against the AOI. So basically where we want to get to there is actually graphing your index against the All Ordinaries index. But that's going to be a little bit involved. This first video is going to look at how to get that data off the internet and then clean it up a little bit because it's not going to be smick when we first get it. We're going to have to do some work to it. Alright, so at this point I'm going to assume, excuse me, I'm going to assume you have your spreadsheet set up like mine has. So it's got 4 companies, the number of shares you're purchasing in each, the price from a day-to-day basis, and then the values. So for instance here, 264 shares at 18.50 gives you a total value of $4,884. Once you've got that, you use that to calculate your overall aggregate market value, which is in this column here. And then from there, use that to construct an index. Excuse me, an index that starts at 100 and goes up or down, depending on how well your portfolio is doing. Okay, so we assume you're up to that point. Once you're there, you're ready to then put data next to that for the AOI. Now, to get that data, it's a matter of going to the Yahoo Finance website, going to the main page, and then rather than typing in a, excuse me, Jesus. Rather than typing in the name of a company, click there where it says All Ords. Now bring up the data for the All Ordinaries index. Now, just like before, you click on historical prices, and you put in the dates that you're interested in. So I'm interested in, for my one, I'm going from August the 21st, 2013 to August the 21st, 2014. So I click Get Prices. Once I've done that, I scroll down some, click Download the spreadsheet like I did before, and it gives me a CSV file just like the previous ones. And just like the previous ones, the only thing I want to keep here is the date and the closing price. So I'll delete everything else, scroll down, and copy, and go over to here. Now I've made a little section in my spreadsheet for the AOI data, but I'm not going to dump it there just yet. And you're going to see why shortly. I'm going to paste it to one side. Whoops, shouldn't have clicked out of that. Like before, I'm actually going to sort this data. I think I recommended you should sort it before. I'll tell you right now, you definitely should sort it, and we'll see why in the second video. Okay, so now it's sorted from oldest to newest. It starts at the last year and ends this year. But I'm not going to delete that date column just yet, and we'll see why now. If I scroll down, down, right to the bottom of this data, aha, you'll see there's a gap. This data is not as long as the share price data. There's dates missing, and that's not good enough, because if we're going to graph the AOI against the other data, it needs to be of the same length. Okay, so let's have a look at why that happens. Alright, so if we look at the share price dates here, you'll notice it starts on the 21st and it goes 22nd, 23rd. It misses the 24th and the 25th and jumps straight to the 26th. Now the reason that happens is because the stock market is closed on weekends and they just don't show share prices for those days. It doesn't make any sense. So all of your data is going to be missing weekends, but here's where the difference between the AOI stuff and the rest of it comes in. Okay, so if I scroll down to Christmas time, you'll notice that they have data for the 24th, and they have the data for the 25th and 26th, which are public holidays, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. And if you look, the share price on the 24th, 25th, and 26th is the same, and that's true for every company. It's 21.38 here for those 3 days. It's 37.29 here for those 3 days, 5.23 over here, and so forth. So basically what happens is the stock market's not open on those days, but they still enter the price in, and they, for those 2 days of public holidays, they just use the share price on the last day that the stock market was actually open, which was the 24th. Okay, now if we go over to here, oh God, excuse me, and look at the same time period, you'll notice in this data, the 25th and the 26th is missing. So just to make life hard for you, the share price data includes public holidays, whereas the AOI data doesn't. So you're going to see where we're going to have to go with this. Those gaps in that column are the missing public holidays. Now, how are we going to get around that? We're going to copy the share price dates from over there, dump it to the right, and then we are going to, this is going to be fun, scroll down and compare dates. And we'll keep doing that until we get to the Thursday where there's a difference. I think from memory that was actually Christmas. So I did this just before for my own purposes. I think it was Christmas. So much fun. Love it. Yep, there we go. Alright. So that's where the numbers start getting different. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this data here. These two columns is the AOI stuff I dragged off the website. Drag down to the bottom. Going to cut that. And then we're going to paste it down by 2 squares so that the 27th, which is the top left-hand cell, is going to line up with the 27th in the other share price list. So I click there, right-click paste, okay. And then the gap here, I'm going to do the same thing that they did for the share prices, and I'm just going to put that particular value on the 24th, which is 5325.25. I'm going to make that the same value on the 25th and 26th. Cool, so I've filled the gap. And then it's just a matter of going down and finding the next gap. And there you can see where the next gap is. This data here is missing the 1st of January, whereas that data does. So then it's a matter of, again, once you find a difference, cut that. Paste it so that the 2nd of January here lines up the 2nd of January there. And then, whoops, fill in the gap. And you just keep doing that and doing that and doing that and doing that until those two are level with each other, until there's no gaps. Now, where are we? I'll pull up one I prepared earlier. Oh, ignore that for now. Get rid of you. Okay. So once you've got that data there sorted, sorry, I thought I had that set up properly. Okay, once you've actually got this data sorted properly, then it's just a matter of, so there's no gaps, it goes all the way down to the bottom like it should, then it's just a matter of grabbing that column, copying it, and pasting it over into here. Alright, like that, and that's what I did in the other spreadsheet. Oops. Okay, so let's say you've got to that point. I'm just going to wipe this off here. Don't need that. So you've got to that point of having your AOI data in this little column here, and you haven't got any gaps. You've filled in all the missing days. So now you want to be able to graph your index against that. But at the moment, that's not going to work because the numbers aren't the same. Your index starts at 100 and the AOI starts at 5090. So you're going to have to scale it, which means make it so it starts at 100 as well. And so you do it, excuse me, a bit like you did for the AMV over here. You type in equals, then the bracket. Oh, sorry, my mistake. The first cell should just be 100. Second cell down, type equals, bracket. Click on the cell to your left, which is your new value. Divide by, and then click on this guy, which is your starting value. Now remember this, your formula for every one of these cells is always going to be look to the left and then get that number and divide it by the very top number. So this very top number has to be an absolute reference, which remember means put a $sign in front of the letter and a $sign in front of the number. And that tells Excel to always look in that cell. If you're getting weird stuff happening, then you haven't done that. And then last bit, times by 100. Alrighty, hit enter there. And then fill that sucker down. And then you're done. So now I've got two indices, one for my portfolio, one for the stock market, the AOI rather, and they both start at 100 so they can be graphed against each other. Sweet. Now we're ready for video 2, and I am done for this one.